everyone. This video is really just intended to kind of get the ball rolling when you have an assignment and you have to write something in a Word document and there's a whole bunch of different things you don't know how to do. And this is not really a crash course in Word. This is not showing you every single function that it has. This is simply just going to show you some of the basics that you need in order to successfully put together maybe something like an essay or a report. So I've put together a few things that I think that we need to master, and hopefully you can do this on your own, and then you will be successful. So this is in no particular order, maybe easiest to hardest, who knows. Let's see how it goes, and we're gonna do this. Okay, so first things first is the page layout. There's a few things I'm going to do on my keyboard that I wish I could show you what I'm doing with my hands. If you happen to have a mouse with like a rolly ball, then that would help, because this is what I'm using. If I hold down on Control, the button Control on my keyboard, and I pull back on the rolly ball, my screen zooms out, and then if I still hold on Control and I push forward on the rolly ball, then my page zooms in. So this is really handy if you're like me and you don't want to wear your computer glasses. Just make the font really, really big. But if you want to zoom out, then this is kind of nice, because then you can see at a glance, what does your page look like from far back. So if we look at it like this, we can see this is what it's called, like vertical, or like a portrait. So it's super kind of skinny in the middle, but then it goes quite high top to bottom. If we want to change this, and I'm going to come up here to the top, and again, your Word might be a different version than mine, but you're going to have similar functions, okay? Just maybe a slightly different place. So I'm going to press Layout, and then over here where it says Orientation, I'm just simply going to hit Landscape. And now you can see that that has made it go longer sideways and not up and down. So just so you can see this again, Orientation, up here I hit Portrait, and it's longer top to bottom. And when I click Landscape, now it's longer sideways. So up we go back to Portrait, and I'm going to zoom in. So again, I'm going to hit down the Control button, and I'm going to zoom in on the rolly ball on my mouse. So that is page layout, horizontal, vertical. We are done with that. This is exciting. One down. So change language. As you can see here, I have a number of things that are underlined. This is the, what do you call that? Grammar check? The word formatting? Who cares? Anyways. So I'm going to hit Control and A, and what that does is that selects everything. I guess it stands for all. Control A. Let me just show you that again. So I just have, as you can see, I'm not doing anything with my mouse. I'm just going to hold down the button Control, and as I'm holding down Control, now I'm going to press the letter A, and everything has been highlighted. So if I zoom out now, you're going to see all of the text and all of the spaces that I have made have all been highlighted. So now down here, sometimes you might see your language button down on the right-hand side. Actually, this, just so we're clear, this button down here, the E and G, that's showing the language of my keyboard. I'm in Canada. I have it on, it says English, US, United States. As long as it's not in a foreign language, and you have it in English, generally speaking, your keyboard, I'm assuming the keys are going to be where they're supposed to be. Okay, but this language over here, this is the language of my Word document. So I'm just going to right click it. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to left click it. And I have some choices. These are some of the ones that I've used recently, which is why they're at the top. But let's say I wanted to put it in Alsatian. I would click on that one, and then I would say set as default. This is going to say, are you sure? Are you sure? And I'm just going to say, yes, I am, and then okay. And so now, what is this? Missing proofing tools. That's okay. Oh, proofing is not available for Swiss German. Gee, that's unfortunate. Let's get rid of that. Okay. But let's say I think, oh, I don't want it in Alsatian French. I want it in Quebec French. So I'm going to select A, and I could even, if I wanted to, just select a few words and change the dictionary. But if I'm going to have one language for the whole document, it's easier just going Control A. Then I'm going to come back here, Alsatian French, and I'm going to go, where is it? It says French Canada. And then set as default, yes, and okay, and now look at that. It's highlighting anything that doesn't look like it belongs in the French language. But because I'm going to do this in English, now I'm going to go Control A. I'm going to click back on my language words down here, and I'm going to go English in Canada, set as default, yes, and okay. There we go. So they're still highlighting some things, because here I have two spaces. So if I get rid of this space in here, that goes away. I'm guessing, what do I need, a dot? Yay, done. So that is how I change my language. Yay, we're getting so close. Okay, changing indents. So let me zoom back out again. I kind of like being able to see the whole page at once. Right up here at the top, we can see it's like a ruler. And so what this does is this shows us anywhere that is in the white here, that is what's going to be printed. And same on the left hand side, anything that falls in the white ruler, that is what is going to make it on the paper in the printer. If I go like this and I go into the gray and I move this right over, in my mind, I'm thinking, awesome, I'm going to be able to print everything right up to the side. The unfortunate thing is, depending on your printer, it's not going to work like that. Most people's printers, like, so where did it start off? Let's say at around the 6. Most people's printers can print to maybe around here, but I don't know if I've actually ever seen a printer that'll let you print right over here. So you could technically, so let me just show you what this looks like. If I'm typing away, I took a typing course, so I'm really good. I hope you can tell. It'll put my letter right to the edge. And although on the computer screen that might work, and in a PDF that might work, if I go to print it, what's going to happen is it's actually going to print off this last little, it's going to, not print off, what do you call that? Cut off this last little bit. Because it's actually the printer that just can't handle that. So watch what happens. The minute I move this in at all, it says, whoa, I got to move it over. So let's just get rid of this big chunk of thing here. Sometimes what happens is, for example, in the teaching world, I like to bring this over a little bit because then I can fit in more words on the page and I'm saving paper. So I will often do that with all of mine. So here I am on the left hand side. I'm going to bring it up to the top. I'm going to come down to the bottom. As you can see, I'm hovering over until I have this little top down arrow and I bring it down a little bit. The trickiest one is at the very top. So I'm going to just zoom in. That actually didn't change the size of this, but and I've got a few things going on. If I just grab this top little arrow and I move it, it's going to move not everything that I want. I want everything to move at the same time. So I'm going to put that back. If I grab this little box, again, that's going to move some things. Oops, sorry, this little arrow. What am I talking about? I want this. This is going to move everything to where I want it. I actually don't really remember what the other arrows are for. I apparently learned this once long ago, but I forgot. Anyways, so this is what you want, is when you're trying to move the margin for the whole page and not just some of the words, you need it to actually have that little sideways arrow. Okay, there we are. So that's changing the indents with a ruler. Okay, changing the text layout. What was I meaning? All right. So this is kind of an interesting one. Let's say, for example, you have just a whole bunch of words, and then all of a sudden maybe you have some longer words. Again, I'm really good at typing. Look how fast. So fast. Wow. Okay. And then maybe you've got a few more smaller words. Okay. Sometimes people like looking at it where everything here is lined up on the left. Sometimes people say, no, I want it on the right. I don't know when that would ever be a thing, but maybe you do. You want it on the right-hand side. Sometimes people like the look of it fills the whole page. You often see this. That didn't work as beautifully. I didn't really get the gist. Let me just copy paste this a few times and see what this looks like. Unfortunately, this is actually not working. I know the computer's working. I'm not picking the right kind of length of words to make this work. Sometimes people like this look for newspapers because then it just makes the whole page look complete and full. If though, however, I pick this button right here, this is going to make everything kind of centered. So that's what these buttons do. Most of the time when you're going to write a document like an essay or a report, you need this button here on the left. It's called left justified. That means that everything is based off of the left. Okay, so that is the text layout. So let's get rid of this right here. Okay, we're going to change the spacing. Sometimes what happens is I like to find a lot of things on like Wikipedia, and then I copy paste them into a document and I rearrange them, and then I kind of work with them to make it what I really want it to say. The problem though is that often when I get things off of Wikipedia or other websites, the spacing is really weird, and then I get frustrated because I think, well, why is this not single spaced? And it's not necessarily double spaced, but it's like a weird spacing. Here's how to find that. Where is it? You go to layout, and as long as all of your buttons here say 0, then it is going to be the proper spacing. This one here is not, because I've got extra letters. So here, let's get rid of this just so you can see how this looks. So 0, 0, 0, 0. This is the spacing you want. Usually though, if I copy paste something from Wikipedia, this number is going to be off. And see what I'm saying? It looks kind of like double spaced, but not totally. And then if I change this around, like it's not the right number. So play around with this. The higher up you go, the more it spaces them out. And maybe there's a time and a place for that. But often when you're doing a report, you want it just single spaced. That's how you want it. Okay. So that is changing our space. Oh, here, actually, I'm just going to keep this big chunk of text. Okay, changing the font. Let's say you don't want it just to be in the font that it comes with. So you're going to highlight the stuff that you want to change. If you want to change everything, you're going to go Control A. But let's say you only want to change this one chunk of text. Then you come on up to this button and you scroll down. And as you can see, as I'm scrolling through these fonts, it's giving me like a preview of what it is. And if I like it, then I can let go, and there it is. So let's say I want Adobe Gothic. I'm just going to click on it, and there we go, Adobe Gothic. I also wanted to tell you how to download a font. If you go to, I'm just going to hit undo so it takes up less space. I'm going to type this right here. Sorry, my bad. And www.defont.com. This website has some awesome fonts on it. What you would do is you'd go to the website, you're going to open up the font, you're going to save it as a file on your desktop, like maybe you're going to have to extract the file or save it as a file. And then when you go into your computer settings, your, what do you call this, control panel, you're going to find your font file, and then you're just simply going to drag or copy paste the file that you downloaded from Font into your font file. And then it will then show up in here. Like for example, this is a cute little font I downloaded. I'll show you. Look how cute this is going to be. Cute notes. How cute. So there we are. So that's how you download your font, and that's how you change your font. Okay. Change the size. I'm sure you guys, most people know how to do this. You can either simply hit the up and down buttons that are next to the number, or you can actually go in here and choose a number. But one of the things that some students don't know is that you can have like half size font. So I can go like 14.5, and that made it a little bit bigger. But do you see they don't offer that as an option? I actually have to type it in. I'm pretty sure though, if I go 14.25, they don't offer that. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, no, they don't. So it's like half sizes, but not quarter sizes. So there we are. So that's the size. Let's change the color. And again, I'm just going to change a chunk so you can see. I'm just going to highlight what I want. So I left click, I select, and I let go. That's how I do my thing. I can either do it here, but sometimes we move so fast that when we move away, that box disappears. So I'm just going to show you the slower way. Once you get better at it, I'm sure will figure out how to do the faster way. Where's my, oh, the font color. So I'm going to come up here. If I already see the color that I like let's say I really wanted it red, I can actually, it's like a shortcut. I can actually just click that button and it'll make it red. But if I want different colors, I have to pick the little arrow that shows me the pick list, and then I can pick the color. So maybe I want a nice green, but maybe I'm going to pick the color here and I don't see a color I want. Then I can go here to more colors, and I can look here on this kind of busy page, or I can go to custom and have like an even wider assortment of colors. So there we are, changing colors. Okay, let's get rid of this. Highlighting. Let's say I want this section here to really stand out. If again, like it's almost like a shortcut. If I want it just yellow, I can just click there and now it's highlighted. But let's say I want it, instead of yellow, I wanted a different color, then I go to my pick list. The only problem with this is you can't actually pick your own colors, which I really think Word needs to work on for their next version. You're kind of stuck with this set. But again, let's say I don't want just yellow, I can open up this panel and then pick green, and then there we go. That's highlighting. Look at how fast we're doing this. Okay, next, copy paste. So sometimes, let's say you want to copy this little line here. Actually, I don't even know the old way how to do over here. Copy. So I would go up here to the copy button. I would then click off of there. Maybe I can leave a space, and then I would hit paste. But I'm going to assume you're going to do a bit more copy pasting if you're doing, like, let's say research online. The easiest way is you're going to highlight this, like whatever you want. On your keyboard, you're going to hold down the button Control, and then you're going to press C, and that's now copied it. It's put it on your clipboard. You're going to click off of there, and you're going to go Control V. And I know you want to go Control P, like, so if Control C is copy, you want to go Control P for paste. The problem though is that Control P is print. And so I'm pretty sure they just picked Control V because it happens to be right next to C. So who knows? We'll never know. Mystery. Okay, so that is how to copy paste. And let's say I want to paste it 10 times. Just watch this. I'm just going to go Control V, 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 and it just keeps going and going and going. So I don't actually have to keep clicking off of the selection every time. Okay, so here's how we're going to insert a picture. Let's say you go to Google, you see a picture you like, you're going to right click it, you're going to go copy, and then you go Control V, you paste it in the picture, or in the document. So this is how we insert the picture. Now let's say though, you don't want to just simply have this huge picture right in the middle of your document. and you want to move it around. So here, there are a few things we're going to do. Once you click on the picture, you see there's white dots, white buttons that appear. If I want to make the picture smaller, I'm going to grab on a diagonal button, and I can, whatever I want, as big or as little as I want. Here's the problem though, if I grab on the side. If I grab on the side, watch what happens to the picture. Now it gets really distorted, and I could do the, the right hand side first, and then go down, and I could do the bottom. But then I don't necessarily know if I'm having the right proportions. So let's just, I'm going to go back. Always grab from the corner, grab the white dot, and drag it in. So let's say now though that I want to make the picture, I want to get rid of some of this grass and around. I only want the dog. So I'm going to click on here, and do you see how as soon as, let me show you again here. Up here, it doesn't say picture tools, even though I'm like, how do I crop this? I actually have to click on it first, and watch at the top up here. So keep your eyes up here, and I'm going to click on the picture now. Do you see how that just popped up? It says picture tools. I'm going to click on format. Then I'm going to come over here to crop, and all of a sudden these black lines appear. This is the cutting tool. So basically when I'm going like this, I grab on and I move it. Then it says, are you sure you want to cut it? And everything that is going to get cut out gets kind of turned into this gray. Now sometimes what happens is kids accidentally go like this, and then they're like, I don't know what to do. So what this is saying is they're like, are you sure you want to cut this? And everything that's in gray is going to be cut out. You just grab your picture and you put it back into kind of the white box area that you want. Maybe that's what you like right there. Or you want to just grab onto the corner and adjust it again. If all else fails and you get totally lost, click off of the picture and hit undo, and then start again. So that is how we crop the picture. And oh, I haven't done the photo layout. Well, I'm just at it here. It says picture tools. Let me just show you. There are a few things you can do. Like you can add up here, if you just hover over, and then let's say you like the picture with the border, you just click on it if that's what you want. There are some corrections you can do. So like, let's say if I really wanted it to look, I don't know, terrible, I could pick on this one. But sometimes it works. Like, let's say maybe you have a picture and it needs to be darker. Then you hover over there and then click on it, and it'll actually adjust it nicely. But it's a beautiful picture as it is. Okay, so that's insert a picture, change a photo layout. Oh no, change a photo layout. So let's say now I'm trying to put the picture right here, and I'm like, why are the words not hanging around it? This little button keeps showing up, but I want to show you the fast way and the short way just in case you get stuck, okay? The fast way is the little button that shows up. You just click on this, and you want it to say wrap or tight with the text wrapping, okay? So I'm going to click on the word tight, and that means, whoops, there we are. That means that when I move it, oh, you know why this is acting weird? It's because it's a long line. That's why. That means that wherever I move it, the words are going to kind of hug the pictures you guys can see. But I'm going to go undo and just show you the long way just in case. Okay, so let's pretend this box didn't show up. You would just come up here to where it says wrap text, and you're going to pick the word that says tight, okay? Because that means that it is tight in the text, okay? So there we are. That is, let's move this guy back up here again. That is how we change the photo layout. Okay, let's get rid of some of this text here. This is too much. Let's actually get rid of all of it. Okay, so let's now insert a table. This is very handy if you want to have like a scientific or mathematical sort of layout, like a chart. Oh, big yawn. Tired. Okay, so we're going to go up to insert. Oh, and one other thing, sorry. Sometimes I find that when I'm writing a table, it can be frustrating because, let me actually just show you. So let's say I'm going to insert a table, and then I'm like, oh, how do I put in my headline, my title? Then I'm sitting there trying to be like, how do I do this? How do I do this? It's so frustrating. So before you do anything, before you put in a table, put in some random words on the top and on the bottom, so that way it kind of saves the place for when you need text that is not in the table. Okay. So then I'm going to go to insert. I'm going to click on the word table, and this is kind of nice. It gives me a preview. Do I want, 5 boxes wide, 6 boxes wide, 10 boxes deep? What do I want? I can always, this is the max. What is it saying? 10 by 8. This is the max that I can have in like a simplistic preview, but I can always add more in after. So let's just say I want a basic, I don't know. There we are. That's a nice looking basic table. But you see, now that I put in the table, I can go back in and add dogs, a title. Okay, and I'm going to put that right in the middle. So here's how this table works. I know a lot of people like to use Microsoft Excel because they can have like formulas and everything, but the table in Word is also very handy, very manageable. So let me just show you how this works. Let's say I'm having, what do you call that? When you ask people a questionnaire, and I want to know who prefers dogs, who prefers cats, who prefers horses, I don't know, zebras, I don't know, rhinos, okay? And so let's say I don't need these two things because these are the animals, and I'm going to say, or maybe who cares, this is class 1, class, oops, 2, class, So what if though I'm just going to show you how to add and delete a line. What if I want to ask 4 classes about my questionnaire? I have an option. I can either, again, this is, Word is really good. They have like shortcuts, and then they have just like the long way if you can't find the shortcut. If I kind of hover right, I'm going to get this plus sign, and that is like, do you want to add a box? I'm like, sure. I can just keep clicking this box and it'll just keep adding rows. But maybe now I'm like, oh, how do I delete this? So I've got my cursor there and I'm like, delete. It's not doing anything. I have to highlight the boxes that I want to get rid of. And I'm going to show you. So first way is I hit the delete button and it says shift cells left. Sure, why not? Get rid of them. Another way is I could simply, if I click once, it highlights the cell, but if I double click, it highlights the whole row. Then I can go to, where does it say layout? Actually, no, I don't think I've ever done this. Hang on. Right click. There we are. That's what I do. Right click, and then I go delete rows, and then they're gone. But let's say I want to add a row, and for some reason this plus button isn't coming up. I'm going to click twice to highlight the row. Then under the table tools, I'm going to go layout, and I'm going to go insert below, and that's where I can insert my cells. Now let's say I want to do something really fancy. Maybe let's say class 4, I'm going to give them 2 options. So dogs and cats, and then horses, zebras, rhinos. Like they've got 2 columns. So, but I want to put these 2 boxes together. I don't want there to be a line in the middle. I'm going to highlight the 2 of them. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say merge cells. And you see it just took away the wall right in the middle. And then same with horses, zebras, rhinos. I highlight the 3 boxes. I right click and I say merge cells. And that is how now there's a space in between. Now let's say class 1, maybe they're a frustrating class. And I want to ask them a frustrating question. Let's say I'm going to highlight this cell and I want there to actually be, I'm going to give them 2 options. So actually, before I even let's add a line here. I'm going to highlight the box. I'm going to right click it and I'm going to say split cells. And it's telling me, whoa, do you want columns, rows? What do you want? And it almost always pre-populates to this. So, and I actually kind of like this. I want 2 columns. Columns is the up and down. Rows is the lateral, the horizontal things. So let me just show you what this looks like if I added 2 columns and 2 rows. Look at that, it makes a square. I don't want that though. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to say split cells, and I want 2 columns, but just the 1 row. I'm going to say okay. So maybe the dogs is they can pick between a lab and Great Dane. Great Dane. But then I think, oh no, how am I going to record my results in this one? Because it's just 1 box. Same thing. I highlight the box, I right click, I say split cells, number of columns is 2, and I say okay. And there we are. So this is our table. Our final little finishing touches. Oh, actually before, I'll show you one final thing that I actually only figured out recently. Super handy. Let's say that I have class 5 and I have class 6. But let's pretend that I want to make a new table because class 5 and 6, I don't want to ask them about animals, I want to ask them about plants. I'm going to highlight the cells that I want to be in a different table, and then I come up here and actually, it says split table. Now it's its own table. So as you can see, now I can go writing my own text here, and I've got 2 different tables, but I don't have to like copy paste the data into a totally different table. So, okay. Let's say I want to make this table look really pretty. Then I'm going to highlight there, click the table so that this table tool shows up. I'm going to click on design, and as you can see, there's all these different things that I can choose from. So if I hover, as I'm just kind of, let me just show you a different column that's got more color. I'm just dragging my cursor over these colors, and you can see it changes around the font, changes around the layout, changes the color, and sometimes you might think, like for example, let me show you this one right here. This one here, where did the other one go to? Right here. Do you see how where it says class 1, 2, 3, and 4, that has moved places? Instead of being on the left, now it kind of goes to the right hand side of the cell. So once you find a style that you like, then you click on it, and then there you go. So that is how we change the format of the table. All right. Page numbers. I don't do this a lot, so this is just going to take me a minute. I think it's in layout. Nope. Design. This is pathetic. I should know this. Okay, insert. So you're going to go up to insert, because I guess that makes sense. You're inserting a page number. And then you're going to click over here where it says page number, and then you have to make a decision. It's saying, do you want it at the top of the page? So this is giving you like a preview. They're like, if this is the page, this is where the number is going to be. Or do you want it at the middle or the right? I always, I don't know, kind of like the bottom when I do use them. And maybe you want them right in the middle or the right-hand side. Let's just go right-hand side. So I would click on that, and then there we are. There's the number 1. I'm going to say close header and footer because I don't need to worry. I'm not adding anything else. So there's my page 1. So watch what happens. I'm just going to go enter, enter, enter until I've got second page, and I scroll down, and there's automatically my number 2. So that is how we do a page number. Okay, this is exciting. We are moving. Okay, a text box. This is really handy if maybe you have a piece of text and then you have to have like a definition and you have to kind of clarify something within your text. I believe it's on insert. Insert. And then you're going to come right over here. So right up here it says insert. You're going to move all the way over here to where it says text box. You click on this, and then I've just always gone simple. I've actually never tried around the other ones, but you can feel free. That's your weekend. Okay, click on there. Here's your text box. So, you know, maybe dog. Definition equals canine. Okay, so I can put this definition wherever I want. And do you see how when I've got this selected, I have all these different tools up here? You can take your time and play around with this. Oh shoot, I have to go back and show you text direction. And let's say I want it to look like stand out and look pretty. Then I would just click on it, and then there we go. Let me just go back to this. Sorry, this is actually really important. Let's say I want to change the direction of my font, of my words here, because maybe I'm going to add in a whole bunch of different things, and I can't get all my words to go in there. So where is it? Design, layout. So do you see how I've highlighted these words here, like dogs, cats, horses, whatever? I'm going to click the button that says text direction until I have it going like this, the way I want it. Now I can actually hover over, let's say on my line, and I can grab this and make it even closer so that way my table doesn't have to be super, super wide. I can make it nice and skinny. And I've just saved all this space and ink, really, because I've gotten my words to go this direction. So, sorry about that little back and forth. Okay, so text box. Let's say a symbol. Let's say you're trying to write in the passé composé in French, and you want to say like, I don't know, I glued. And you want to have j'ai collé, but you're like, where's the accent on the E? I can do a shortcut on the keyboard, or I don't know all of the shortcuts for all of them. So I'm going to go into insert at the very top. You go all the way over here to the right hand side to where it's a symbol. These are the ones that I've used recently, which is why they're right there. But if I hit more symbols, now you can, this here, it says font, normal text. I can scroll down until I find the font I want, or I can change it on the screen after. So let's just say, I'm like, okay, sure, Arial. let's have some fun. And I have to scroll down until I see, oh, there's the E that I want with the accent. I go insert, and as you see, it just popped in there, and close. But because, do you see how I changed the font to Arial, it also changed it in here. So what is this font? Is this Times New Roman? So I would then click, highlight my word. Where's Times New Roman? Oh, way at the bottom. Times New Roman. And then there we are. So let's say, though, I want to add in a different symbol. So I'm going to go insert, come all the way back over to symbol, more symbols. If it says, like, if it's just like a normal text or one of these normal fonts, then it'll have a whole bunch of like the foreign language symbols. There are a few other sections that are kind of interesting. They're a little silly, but whatever. If you go down, you're going to have, it's called web dings. That's a kind of fun one, like just interesting little random, you know, like a musical note. They also have wingdings 1, 2, and 3. Handy, you know, you might need, here, this is an arrow going this way. Anyways, that is how you do a symbol. Let's just, yeah, we can get rid of our little text box. I'm done with this. Get rid of symbol. Okay, columns. So let's make, actually, let's just do columns with this. So let's say I have a whole bunch of information, but I don't want it, okay, let me back up. Let's pretend this whole page is basically one column. And let's imagine that it's like a brochure, and I want it kind of cut into two. And I don't want to just write and write and write until I get to here, and then leave some spaces, and go space bar, and then right over here, and then come down here and write, and then go space bar, and then come over here. That's way too much work, and it's going to be really hard to fix after, okay? So the easiest way is you're going to highlight this. You're going to hover over there. Oh, where do I go to again? Layout. You're going to click on the columns button, and then maybe I want it into 2, then I press the word 2. Maybe I want it into 3, then I press the word 3. Like the table with the font on top and below, I find it's the same sort of thing. You almost need to have text on top and on the bottom, because otherwise, watch this. If I highlight this section and I put it into 2 columns, then let's say I'm done with this and I try and go, okay, I'm going to write underneath. Well, it's still now going to assume that I'm still writing my columns, and that's not what I want. If I want to then have 2 columns and then a bunch of text underneath, then, whoops, let's put this back into our 2 columns. Then I can go back to the text that I had there that was kind of like a safe holder, or space saver, space holder, there we are. And then I can keep writing my document. Okay, I don't like my columns like that. 1 column, come on. Okay, find and replace. So let's pretend I have a whole document and I've got the word dog, 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 cat, dog, cat, dog, dog, just for the sake of argument, okay? And I'm like, I really need to change some of my words around. I'm going to highlight the section that I want, or I can Control A to highlight my whole document. But just for now, I'm just going to highlight this section. I'm going to, oops, not here. I'm going to go back to the home, and I'm going to go replace. And maybe every time I have the word dog, I'm actually wanting the word zebra. So it's saying, what do you want to find? What do you want to replace it with? And then I'm going to say replace all, not just one at a time. That's the replace all. So it says, as you see, when I said yes, it replaced them, but it's going to say we changed 6 things in what you selected. They're like, do you want us to do the rest of your document? You might, but you might not, because there's times where, let's say I'm editing and I only want some of the words to be changed. So I'm going to say no, and then I'm going to hit close, because let me show you the problem. Let's get rid of this. Maybe I have the word dog and I have the word and no, let's go like this. But up here, maybe in my list, I've got 23 and answer. Okay, so let's say, just so you can see how this works, I want to replace anything that is I want to replace it with the word with. Just for sake of argument, I'm going to replace all. To see how it replaced these 2 words, but it didn't replace this because it was only in my selection. So here it said, we replaced 2. Do you want to search the rest? If I said yes, oh, hang on, do you want to continue searching from the beginning? Yes. Then look, it just changed all of these words in here that I didn't actually really want changed. And they're like, look how proud we are. We did it for you. So I'm going to go undo. So anyways, that is find and replace. Now you can also just go find, like let's say you don't know a word that you're looking for. You can just go Control F, and the word that you're looking for will pop up here. But maybe I'm not looking for I'm looking for the word dog. Then it highlights the words in my document that I'm trying to find. So that is find and replace. Okay, print screen. This is really going to depend on your computer and your laptop. If you're working on, like, let's say a laptop, you're probably going to have an extra button that you have to press in order to get your print screen. If you have a full keyboard, you probably don't. On mine, I don't have a separate or like an extra button that I have to press. I have just the one button, and on it it says PRTSC, like Pertzuk, and really that's kind of short form for print screen. Some people, like let's say your print screen button is written in blue, you might have like a blue button close to your space bar that's like an FN or something like that. You might have to hold that down and then press your own print screen button. My print screen button is found out by my F12 key. So this is handy because let's say I want to take a picture of my screen and then, I don't know, do something with it. Okay, so watch this. I'm going to press on my keyboard. You just heard that. I just pressed the button. Nothing really happened yet because it's like it took a picture and it put it on the clipboard. So now I'm going to, let's say I want it at the very bottom of my document. I'm going to go Control V. I'm going to paste my print screen, and there it is. It has now print screened my document. So I'm going to, let's say, format it. I'm going to crop this to what I want it to be. And there we are. This is a really handy way to get around a Google picture that won't copy onto your keyboard, onto your clipboard. You just print screen the picture and there you go. It's not as good quality, but so be it. Okay, print screen. I'm going to leave this table of contents for the end because that's longer and harder. Let's do easiest to harder first. Okay, math, small numbers. Let's say I'm measuring something and it's 20 centimeters squared, and I want to go 20 centimeters squared. But somebody might look at it and say, but that's just 20 centimeter 2. Like, was it 22 centimeters? 202 centimeters? So what I do is I highlight the number that I need to become little, and I go up here under next to all of these other little text formatting buttons, and let's say I wanted it to be squared. I want it to go higher, then I'm going to press this little teeny tiny button and it makes it squared. But let's say I wanted it at the bottom, then it would move it down there if for some reason I had a number I wanted down there. So there we are, math, small numbers. Okay, bullet points. I love this stuff. So let's say now I'm going to make a list, and I'm going to say my list is called My Favorite Things. So let's say I have a list. I have dogs that I like, I have cats that I like, I have horses that I like, and other. So maybe under my favorite things, my dogs, I want to just clarify what kind of dogs I like. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to press this little button, and that puts in like a little bullet point, and that's kind of essentially the same thing as having a dash, but you know, it looks a little bit different. So I'm going to say big dogs, because little dogs are, well, basically cats. Okay, so if though, now I want to clarify which big dogs I like, now I'm going to hit enter, and I kind of like my dot here, but I want to clarify big dogs. I don't want to make it look like I like big dogs and Great Danes and, I don't know, Newfies. Oh, Great Danes. Because now when I have it all lined up like this, it looks like under dogs, I like big dogs, Great Danes, and Newfies, as though Great Danes and Newfies were not themselves big dogs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor here in front of Great Danes, and I'm going to press the tab key, and that moves it over one, which makes it again look like another subsection. So Newfies, I'm going to move them over here, but maybe I want another subsection to Newfies. Maybe I want only black Newfies. I don't like the black and white Newfies, so only black Newfies. Okay. So what I've done is my little dots, by pressing the tab key, I can move them over and back. Hopefully, I think that kind of makes sense. Oh yeah, one last thing I wanted to show you. Let's say under cats, I wanted to have a little subsection, and I wanted to say only cat stickers, not real cats. Let's say I wanted my bullet point to be over here. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to back it up. But then you're like, hey, I just got rid of it. Let me just hit undo. Here's how we deal with that. There's little buttons up here, this left arrow and the right arrow, and they're like, do you want to move something left and right? So I click the left button. Hey, what's going on? Let's try this again. Oh my goodness. This is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. When I do this in here, this works. There we are. Okay, I guess it only works in the tab. Okay, let me show you what I just did here. I want this to be over here. So what I'm going to have to do then is I'm going to have to actually adjust my ruler and drag this over to where I want. That's too bad that button didn't work as I thought it would. In a table, watch this. If I put in my bullet point and it comes kind of in the middle, that's, to me, it's a waste of space in here. So then I press this button and I move it left. I guess manually it doesn't work in here. I have to actually grab the ruler button at the top and pull it over. Look at that, live and learn. Okay, Word, something to work on for your next version. Okay, so bullet points. All right, quickly moving. This is not something you need to master in order to have a successful document or report or something, but it saves time. Let me just show you what happens. I'm showing you right now, I'm going to use my right hand key. I'm just moving the right arrow on the keyboard. Do you see how it's moving one space at a time? Okay, very long and annoying. However, now I want to move one word at a time. I'm going to hold down the control key on the keyboard, and now I'm just going to press right key, right key, right key, right key, right key. Do you see how it's now going a word at a time, like an entity at a time? Let's say I wanted to, because I'm going to delete this now, I'm going to hold on control, I'm going to hit the word delete, and now it's deleting one word at a time. I'm not having to delete individual letters. So if you're trying to navigate quickly with your keyboard, if you hold down the button Control, it'll move things around a lot faster. Oh, and we didn't need this. This was a made-up thing, an answer. We have 2 more things to go. We're so good. Put in a reference. Okay, let's say you are writing an essay or you're doing something that you have to reference your sources, and you want people to know that you are not plagiarizing. What we're going to do is you're going to go to where it says references, and it says insert footnote. And so let me just show you what happened. It automatically put in a number 1 here, and it automatically put in a number 1 at the bottom of the page. And not to be confused with the page number, because I'm going to show you what's going to happen in a few minutes. So let's say I got this fact, put in a reference. Actually, let me undo this. Let me put in something realistic. Okay. Dogs are big. Dogs are awesome. Dogs are lovely. Okay, let's say I read in a book, dogs are big. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want someone to think I plagiarize this. I'm going to go insert footnote. And maybe I got it from a book by a guy named, I don't know, Baker, Todd, and it was called Dogs Are Amazing. Okay, who cares? So what it does is I've got my little reference up here, my number 1, so that when someone's reading it, they can kind of just keep reading dogs are big, dogs are awesome. They're not getting stuck with all of this, like, who said it? But maybe they're reading it, they're like, dogs are big. They're like, no way, dogs are not big. Where did she get that from? They can look at the bottom of the page and be like, number 1, they're like, oh, Todd Baker said it, and dogs are amazing. So now I'm reading another book, dogs are awesome. I've got another fact. I'm going to go insert footnote right up here under references. It automatically put in a number 2, and down here it's going to put in a number 2. Maybe this was by a woman named Amelia Swan in Dogs Are Forever. Okay, so then again, they can keep on reading. They don't have to read down below, but they can if they want. But what happens if I'm like, you know what? I want to start my sentence with dogs are awesome and then say dogs are big. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to grab onto it and move it and let go. And look what happened. It automatically renumbered. So instead of me going like, because I could put in a little 3, I could highlight my 3, I could come up to the home button, make it a little teeny tiny 3, and it would look the exact same. But watch what happens. If I move this and I say dogs are lovely, it's still a number 3. It doesn't know to automatically format it because it's not a reference. It's just a 3 that I've stuck in. Whereas this way, if I say dogs are lovely and I go back to references, I put in insert footnote, it gives it a 3, dogs are lovely, and maybe Bobby said it in the book Dogs. Okay, then I'm like, dogs are lovely. Let's start out with the idea dogs are lovely. I move it here, it automatically renumbers. Dogs are lovely, and there's Bobby, number 1. Okay, so there we are. That's how we put in a reference. This is exciting. We are almost done. So, table of contents. Let's get rid of all this. Let's pretend on this page, this is going to be our title page. It's going to be kind of messy. We can actually get rid of everything. So, on our title page, we're going to have a big, it's called dogs. I'm going to go back to the home, and I'm going to have, what am I going to have? It's called title, dogs. And so let's say this is our title, and I want to have, where is it? References, insert a table of contents. So I'm going to click on table of contents. Let's just go with basic automatic table 1. Call it creating a table of contents. Start by applying a heading style. Good, I'm glad that came up. That's very good. So nothing found, but that's okay. So I'm going to go enter, enter. Remember, I'm going to hit the button Control, and I'm going to hit enter, and that goes down to the next page. So maybe on this page, I want to talk about how dogs are amazing. I'm going to highlight this word here. I'm going to go back to home, and I'm going to go heading 1. Okay, I'm not going to change the font or anything. And let's say now I'm going to go Control, I'm going to enter. Maybe on my second page, I'm going to have dogs are big. So I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to go heading 1. Now watch what happens. I'm going to go back up, and I look and I think, oh my gosh, my table of contents, there's nothing in it. But when I click on this, it says update table, and the whole thing just updated. My table of contents updated because Word knows that this it like belongs, it anchors in this table of contents. So let's do one more just so you can see how this works. So, and I'm not even going to go Control, I'm just going to go enter, enter, enter. I get to the next page, and maybe it's going to say dogs are the best. And maybe I'm going to have that title there, and I want to have dogs are so cute. Okay, dogs are the best. I'm going to go heading 1, and watch this. Dogs are so cute. Heading 1 as well. I'm allowed to have 2 headings on one page, but it didn't automatically update because I have to click on here, update table. This says update only this, and I'm like, no, just do the whole thing. Don't be lazy. There we are. automatically done in my table of contents. So if you are writing a long essay, oh, another big yawn. Sorry. If you're writing a big essay or something, or a report, and you need a lot of sections, you might as well do this, because then it automatically does it for you. There's no point in you going through and counting page numbers automatically, or like if it can be done automatically. So there we go. I hope this helps. And I think these are the basic skills you need for writing a basic report or essay in Word. Good luck!